welcome to She Plays Weekly. I'm Preston Bradshaw. Let's get into what's happening in women's sports this week. The NWSL finally dropped the regular season schedule on Tuesday, and all I can say is buckle up, folks. NWSL kickoff is May 15th. The Wnba starts the day before that. We've got tackle football starting Sunday, Athletes Unlimited lacrosse coming in July, not to mention, the Olympics. What I'm saying is, if you had summer plans, maybe just don't. WNBA training camp has officially begun, with tons of ridiculously talented players competing for one, maybe two roster spots per team. The Hunger Games wishes it had this kind of drama. Kentucky won the NCAA Volleyball National Championship on Saturday, which was the first title for both the program and the SEC. And when your school makes history like that, the natural response is to go out into the street and burn some couches. Guys, I know we've all spent way too much time on our couches this year, but is this maybe a bit much? Rose Namajunas became the first woman to ever regain a UFC title when she knocked out Zhang Li in under 90 seconds with a quick and, may I say, terrifying kick to the head. People paid like $90 to watch this fight on pay-per-view, so like $1 per second. Seems like a deal to me. Simone Biles is leaving her partnership with Nike for a new deal with Athleta. The woman-run company will give her her own performance line and a platform as an activist. She says she made the switch because Athleta more closely aligns with her values and supports her as an individual outside the gym. I love this. Whomst among us that isn't Simone Biles can look at Nike and go, no thanks. No one, but no one else can do a Yurchenko double pike either. Several German gymnasts took a stand against sexualization in gymnastics last week by wearing full-body suits instead of leotards at the European Artistic Gymnastics Championship. Sarah Voss led the charge and got a lot of praise in the sports world for taking a stand here. This is so extremely cool, and bonus, if they ever want to go surfing after a meet, they won't even need a costume change. It's a win-win. A sports media brand called Overtime announced this week that they're launching an all-new professional basketball league for high school boys. It's a cool idea and all, and I'm all for shaking up the NCAA's monopoly over school sports. But at this rate, we are going to see little leaguers making six figures before it occurs to anyone to pay the women. We've got a great show for you tonight. Regena Jackson of the Women's National Football Conference is here. Plus, we'll break down the NWSL Challenge Cup for you. But before we get to all that, the 2021 Women's World Hockey Championship was canceled out of the blue last week for the second time since the pandemic began, sparking outrage across the hockey community and raising questions of whether the tournament could still happen. For more on that, let's take a deep dive. Okay, first off, this sucks. Clearly this sucks. This is the second Women's World Championship we've seen canceled, and it's just exhausting to keep getting our hopes up and then crushing our dreams, as has been the theme for the past year. But it's extra bad because of how ridiculously short notice the cancellation was. Many of the players heard the news while on the ice for their final practices, and some teams were already en route to Nova Scotia for the 8-day isolation period before the tournament was set to begin. All of the players and staff were already following incredibly strict quarantine protocols so that they could have the chance to play. And then, all of a sudden, it just ended. This World Championship is especially important for the players because the 2022 Olympics are coming up fast. Big international tournaments like these are crucial if anyone wants to be in top form in 2022. It's now been 745 days since the last Women's World Championship was played, which is, say it with me, too many days. There's already talk of rescheduling the tournament, which, great, but you have to take into account the effect this unpredictable training calendar has on the athletes, both physically and mentally. Training for a big tournament like this takes months of careful planning. There are training calendars and meal planning and tons of work, all to make sure that you peak at exactly the right moment. So what happens when that moment gets pushed back to who knows when? No athlete can stay in top form year-round, which is why we, plan these tournaments way in advance. This cancellation came out of nowhere. Literally 24 hours earlier, a top health official from Nova Scotia came out saying that the COVID protocols for the tournament looked good, and that the event presented very little risk to the province, so everyone was feeling good. Then, boom, the government of Nova Scotia shut the whole thing down with no warning and seemingly no conversation. The IIHF is trying to reschedule the championship by the end of the summer, but people are still pissed, and rightly so. Of course, the health of the people of Nova Scotia comes first, but there was no backup plan here, and it really feels like we could have seen this one coming. Worlds were already postponed earlier this year due to the pandemic. And you have to think that when the planning for the new dates was going on, they might have taken this possibility into consideration. COVID was worse when they were planning this. It really feels like there should have been a plan B here. Instead, we got a statement from the IIHF saying that they are seeking new dates. Great, I guess, but also not really. This is just the latest example of women's hockey being treated like an afterthought, and it's getting old. All 3 Women's World events this year have been canceled. All 3 men's events went on. Last September, the IIHF announced that the U18 Women's Worlds were canceled, and at the same time, announced that the men's juniors would be played in a bubble environment. In Canada, by the way, at a time when COVID numbers were climbing. The U18 Men's World Championships are happening right now. They were originally scheduled to play in Michigan, but the IIHF looked at Michigan's COVID numbers and, drumroll please, planned ahead. They moved the tournament to Texas months in advance because it clearly matters to them that the men's tournaments happen. All we're asking for is that you care enough about the women to try that hard. Tons of high-profile hockey players expressed their frustration with the situation on social media this week, and you should read their statements because they said it way better than I ever could. Canadian national team goalie Shannon Zabados even suggested that maybe the IIHF should just let her take over the women's side. And at this point, I say, let's do it. Yep, Zabados is in charge now. I don't make the rules. Maybe then we'd get to see a world championship sometime in the next decade. That was your deep dive. We'll be right back with Regena Jackson. Our guest tonight is a player in the Women's National Football Conference, where she plays at quarterback for the Mississippi Panthers. RJ, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So your season starts on Sunday. That's exciting. First game.
Saturday.
Oh, my bad. Saturday, the 1st, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, the 1st.
These which months have 30 and which months have 31 is something I still can't do. So you got your first game against the Alabama Fire. That's Battle of the South, which we love. I'm a Southerner. I'm in North Carolina.
Gotcha.
I feel like that there's a lot of people out there, though, who still, even people who love women's sports, who don't know that women's tackle football exists.
I agree.
We want to work on that. So can you just tell me a little bit about how you got started playing football and how you ended up in the WNFC?
Oh, sure. Well, I got started, a friend kept asking me to come out and play. Just try it. And, of course, I'm like, seeing football on TV, I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't want to get hit. So, no, I'm not coming. So, finally, she ended up getting me out there. And then I actually started to love it. I was actually a running back before I became a quarterback. So, I actually like to run. It was kind of like a natural thing for me. Then we played 1 year at Mississippi Royalty down there in Hattiesburg. And then we ended up getting a team here in Jackson, Mississippi. So we ended up coming to the Panthers, and the WNFC hit our guy up and told us, hey, they want to see us in the WNFC. And they invited us. So we said, yes, we're coming. And here we are. We're in the WNFC now. So from the WFA to the WNFC.
There you go. That's the other league too. People who don't know WFA. There's 2 leagues. There's actually maybe 3, but there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
So much women's football. Like who knew? Not me. I feel bad that I didn't know until like maybe last year, but I'm in it now.
No problem.
I'm on top of it. I'm watching this year. You got a fan.
Got you.
There's a team in North Carolina. I'm gonna try to get out to a game. I think that'd be so fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. But can you tell me a little bit about the league? Like for people who don't know, like the game you guys are playing out there, I feel like people don't expect women to play tackle at all. Like how does that compare to the men's game or to maybe what you think people's expectations might be?
I really think that, it's kind of like when women's basketball started, it's, they feel like women can do it, but they don't think women can do it just as good as men can, So it was like, it's almost like anytime a women's activity or sport gets started, it's like, it's kind of, less than the men's, and they think it's less entertaining, but it's most definitely not, it's still entertainment, even if it's from women, So I think, women's football is actually starting to become just like, when women's basketball first started, everybody wasn't really watching it. but now they're starting to, take notice. So it's just like, the football thing is just kind of following the same footsteps basically. But they're gonna see the same thing. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of action. We playing basically chess out there or whatever. We're trying to, beat our opponent just like mentally as well, just like the men do. So I mean, it's the same game, hard hits, good quarterbacks, good defensive
Good
plays,
quarterbacks, yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, chess with hitting. I like that. But
For sure.
yeah. So it's a league that's like on the up, definitely. It's not new, but it's growing. It's still kind
Right.
of in the more beginning phases. People aren't really getting paid yet, but
Right.
we'll get there. Like we're on the way. This thing's growing. This year you're gonna be able to watch the games on Vire Network,
Right.
BYRE. We'll put that up in the notes or something so people can see that. But there's an app and it's a website. You should be able to watch all the games. And
Right.
there's a lot more teams than you think too. So you could get out to a game in person. You
Yes.
should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But what do you do outside of football right now?
I am actually a regional manager for GNC. So
Oh, cool.
I'm basically nutrition. So that's what I do.
You got the edge, right?
I guess you could say that. I mean, the knowledge to actually, prepare my body, of course. But other than that, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just, I deal with a lot of customers. I deal with, a lot of employees and stuff like that. But, it's just life. That's just what we do. So that's what I do outside of it. It's kind of my hobby.
Yeah, that's your hobby. Football's a job.
Yeah, I really feel like that. I think I put more time into playing football than I do at my regular job for real. So
And then that's the point. That's why we're trying to get people paid because that's the way it should be. Should have that option please,
exactly,
if you want it.
exactly. That'd
Yeah.
be awesome.
One day. So speaking of that, where do you hope to see the league go from here?
Um, I really believe that this is gonna be the league that actually gets teams paid. I think Odessa has like a very 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 laid out structured plan for this league, and
She's awesome.
yeah, she's definitely awesome. Her marketing and everything like that or whatever is top notch, and I believe that she's gonna have it on board like just like the NFL. Like I really truly honestly believe that. I feel like eventually couple of years from now, I feel like they'll be calling it the WNFL, and it'll actually be televised and it'll actually be on a national platform, just like the NFL is.
Yeah. Well,
And
the
I think this
WNFL
league,
and the MNFL. It'll be great.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I mean, I really believe and think that we're gonna bring a lot of entertainment. Because I mean, in this league, there's a lot of women that take this seriously, and they actually prepare their bodies and they actually do what's necessary to be an elite athlete. It's kind of hard to find women these days that actually do that. Some people think it's a game. It's really not. You can actually get hurt out here. So if you're not training your body or feeding your body properly or anything like that, you can really get injured. So I hope everybody around the league is taking the proper precautions or whatever to keep themselves safe, because nobody wants to get hurt out here. you know because it's
No,
not it's not a,
no, we
it's
don't
to
need it.
me it's not a game. I mean, I know we're playing football, but to me it's not a game. Like, I don't play with my body. I don't play with my nutrition. I don't play with anything like that. So I'm serious whenever I'm on the field. I want to have fun and everything like that, but I'm serious about playing. Like, so
Yeah, that's the way it should be. That's awesome.
yeah.
All right, so like I said, the season starts on Saturday, not Sunday, and you can watch
Yeah.
those games at watchvire.com all season long or on the Vire Network app. We're going to come back a little bit later with some more from RJ, and we're going to get to know her a little bit better with a game. So stick around.
Uh-oh.
There are a lot of stories to keep track of in sports every week, and sometimes you have to crunch some numbers to keep up. The NWSL Challenge Cup is in full swing, and we're here to bring out your inner mathlete. So let's count it down in a segment we call By the Numbers. We don't want to strain your brain too hard, so we've picked some easy numbers to get you up to date on all things Challenge Cup. Let the countdown begin. Number 10, there are 10 teams in the NWSL and therefore 10 teams competing for the cup. That's 2 more teams than last year. So fun. Number 9, the Portland Thorns now have 9 points, being the only team that has won every game. They are guaranteed a spot in the final. Now we're just waiting to see who's joining them. Number 8, Portland again. It took only 8 minutes for Portland to score in their opener against Kansas City. Their fans have been deprived for too long, so the Thorns gave them what they wanted right away, and they haven't stopped since. Number 7, there were 7 total goals in the North Carolina Courage Gotham FC game last week. North Carolina can always be counted on to score goals, but Gotham decided to give us a show when they pulled this one out. Number 6, Kansas City has been given 6 yellow cards in this tournament. That's the most of any team, and I don't know, I think they should get a prize. Someone gets the golden boot, and someone gets the golden fist. Number 5, 5 games have ended in ties during the tournament so far. There are no eliminations in the Challenge Cup, so each team got a point and the ties had to stand. Boo. Number 4, 4 plus 9 is 13, and that's how many saves Ashlyn Harris has made during the Cup. She came up big in the Pride's game against the Spirit, blocking a penalty kick to keep the Pride on top. Nothing gets past Harris. She put up 2 Save of the Week candidates in a single match, so, fear her. Number 3, there have been 3 goals scored by rookies so far. Abby Kim and Taylor Korniak of the Orlando Pride both scored in their NWSL debut on April 10th. And Trinity Rodman, the youngest player ever drafted to the NWSL, also scored in her debut for the Washington Spirit. We love to see the babies out there making moves. Number 2, this is the second Challenge Cup, the first being a response to COVID cancellations last year. Women's soccer was the first sport to come back during the pandemic, and it truly gave the world something to root for when the Houston Dash proved everybody wrong and won the dang thing. And finally, number 1, there is only 1 week left until the final. All the chaos that has gone down so far should give us an exciting fight to the finish, and it will be fun to see someone try to pry the cup out of the Houston Dash's hands. That was By the Numbers. We'll be right back with more from Regena Jackson. All right, we are back with Regena Jackson. RJ, I was just learning a little bit more about you while we were off camera. You are a basketball Hall of Famer too. There's so much apparently that we don't know about you.
True.
So this will maybe help with that a little bit. I'd like to play a game with you right now that we call Rapid Fire.
Okay.
The point is, we're just going to try to get to know you a little bit more outside of sports / with all kinds of weird random questions that we came up with. We got a running competition going here. So Sam Fisher, Athletes Unlimited Softball, she's our current record holder at 12, I think, in a minute.
Ooh.
Not bad. So
In a minute?
Yeah, she told me, she was like, I'm coming back on if anyone beats my record. So see if we can make this happen. All right, so let me get my timer up here. It's just random questions, as many as you can in a minute. And you ready to go?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. Minute on the clock. All right, what is your favorite city to play in?
Ooh. Vegas.
Vegas. Favorite sport to watch?
Football.
Fair. Go-to karaoke song?
John Legend.
Nice. What's your touchdown Sally?
Cam Newton, Superman.
Nice. Last movie you watched?
Mortal Kombat.
What was your high school mascot?
Jacket.
Jacket?
Yellow jacket, yeah.
Oh. What's your pregame meal?
Fish.
Fish. Who on your team would you bring to a fight?
Tiffany.
Do you like camping?
No.
Fair. Again.
Do
you eat ice cream out of a cup or a cone?
Cup.
Who do you go to for advice?
My mom.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Beans.
That's
I'm
a minute.
lying. Green beans. Dang it. I meant green beans, but
Well, beans and green beans, that counts. That was 12. You just tied.
Oh. So that's
People,
why you were speeding up, huh? That's why
the competition's getting fierce here. I don't know who's gonna finally break 12 in this game, but I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. You come on the show. That was pretty good though. I'm impressed. Green beans.
Yeah.
Same deal. Well, RJ, That was so fun. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said,
No
you can
problem.
check out RJ and the rest of the WNFC in the season. It's coming up this weekend. You can watch on the Fire Network app or at watchfire.com. You can find RJ on Instagram at RJ_Savage3. And, get out to a game in person this summer too if you can. You won't regret it. All right,
Sure
we've
won't,
got,
especially if you come see the Panthers.
yeah, Mississippi. Fly yourself to Mississippi just to see RJ. It's worth it, I promise.
It's worth
All right,
it.
well, we have got one more thing for you before we go, so stick around. Before we go tonight, we have a special award to give out. Every once in a while, we like to highlight some of the real winners in women's sports. So let's meet this week's champion in a segment we call MVP. 2 words, folks. Holly Rowe. You'll recognize her face if you've ever watched a single solitary sport, because you probably saw her on the sideline. This woman single-handedly brought us every quality story we could ever want for football and basketball and volleyball and swimming. Truly, you name it, she's covered it, and she's done it better than anyone. Rowe is notorious in sports media for her incredible sideline reporting, and she deserves every bit of that rep. She knows how to get a good story out of every interview she does. She's empathetic and kind and thoughtful and everything else you wish every reporter could be. But let's be honest, no one can be Holly Rowe. She was the only reporter in the WNBA bubble last year, which is, first of all, just incredibly exhausting. She covered 55 games in 87 days in there, plus the hundreds of personal stories she reported on top of that. If you saw a viral picture from inside the bubble, odds are pretty good that Rowe was behind that camera. It was a season full of groundbreaking moments that reached well beyond sports, and the players' trust in her to tell their stories well was clear. She worked her butt off in there, and then, in typical Holly Rowe fashion, turned right back around and got on the college football beat. In the past month alone, she covered the entire NCAA women's basketball tournament, then moved straight into the WNBA draft, where at one point she just casually started interviewing a player in fluent French, because she just couldn't leave any talent for the rest of us. After all that, you'd think she'd, take a nap, but no. I turned on the NCAA volleyball tournament last week, and who did I see? Holly Rowe, back at it, in her excellent outfits, speaking intelligently about yet another sport. Now, I have some theories about how Holly Rowe seems to be everywhere in women's sports simultaneously. They include teleportation, underground Disney World-style tunnels, or maybe a bargain with some kind of forest witch, but I'm yet to discover her true secret, so I'm taking suggestions. But the real magic of Holly Rowe is her massive impact on women's sports. She creates the kind of respectful, well-rounded coverage these athletes need. As we know, visibility is everything, and she seems to account for at least half of it all by herself. So, Holly Rowe, you are the MVP this week. I can't wait to see you in a week or so commenting on, let's just take a guess, figure skating. In Russian, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. That's our show, everybody. Thanks for watching She Plays Weekly. We'll see you next week.